converting all of those leads into customers. And that's really the secret sauce to success. It's no good generating leads or getting the traffic if you can't convert them into customers. And I remember talking to a woman a few years ago, who had an e-commerce site. She was getting traffic delivered to her website, and lots of it. People were even putting stuff into the shopping cart to check out, and they weren't buying. That for some reason something was freaking them out and they weren't buying. So, for an e-commerce site, it's really important that you have the systems and processes on your website to build that that relationship, that trust, that rapport, because something can freak people out. Maybe it wasn't secure, maybe the reviews look shoddy, whatever, right? But you got to make sure that you've got systems in place to convert people into customers. And you drive traffic all you like to your website, but customers is the key to the success in any business. So the first thing we need to do is we need to reduce resistance. Okay, so we need to reduce resistance. We've got to make it easy for people to buy. If you make people jump through too many hoops, or don't give them the evidence that you're worthwhile dealing with, then you're going to find that people will go away. They will shy away. Even if they spend a bit of time on your website, if something doesn't work properly on your website, like if they're trying to contact you, or let's say they use the contact us page, they send a message through saying, I'm really interested in talking with someone about your product or your service, and no one gets back to them for 48 hours, that's going to increase resistance, right? So reducing resistance is just about thinking about all those critical points in your business and making sure that you've got a system for following up, or for solving those problems. Another example is you're generating leads, but no one's on Facebook. I've seen this happen before, where people are paying money, they're generating leads on Facebook, and then the salespeople aren't getting back to those people for days. Well, by the time they get back to them, it's too late. They've bought from somebody else. Or another classic example, I remember working with a company that did signs, and they would get the lead and they would contact the lead quickly. They would then say, we'll get a quote back to you, and they would take up to 2 weeks to get the quote done. Well, by then, the other competitors that they've gone to have already got the quote back and they've bought from somebody else, right? So reduce resistance. Don't make it hard for people to buy from you. Offer payment terms, that credit card payments, PayPal, Afterpay, whatever it is you need to do to make it easy for people to buy from you, then that's what you've got to do. Really important. Now, a good way to reduce resistance is make sure that you've got lots of positive reviews. There's been a lot of studies done around reviews on the internet. Most people will only leave a review if they're unhappy. And what that means is, for most businesses, because there's no one's perfect, we all have an unhappy customer that leaves a review or 2 or 3. And not very many positive ones. And that doesn't look good for you, because in a search result, when someone does a search result on your business, they only see the stars. They don't typically see how many people have left reviews. So unless they dive deeper, they're going to make an assumption that your business is not a good one to deal with. So you need to be proactively asking for reviews. And we have a really good system for doing this that works gangbusters, to get as many positive reviews as you can, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Google. So you Google My Business listing now, it's a major part of how it appears in the search results and how much confidence it gives people. It might be a industry specific platform of some sort. It could be maybe you're in hospitality, so something like TripAdvisor is very important, but there's a heap of different review sites out there. You want to make sure that you're getting positive reviews, so you need a system for making sure you do that. Another great thing is case studies. Case studies have been proven to reduce resistance because it shows people that you've helped somebody with the same problem before. So it's important to document a case study of when somebody came to you with a problem and how you were able to solve that problem for them using your product or service. And you want to document it. Ben came to me, he had this issue. He tried these 3 other companies, they couldn't solve it for him, and this is what we did, and now he's happy. And it's going to be much more in depth than that. It might be a before and after photo, right? So a case study could be that. And then the final thing is testimonials. And testimonials on your website, testimonials on your, in your marketing, testimonials that you can share on your YouTube channel that are videos, audio recorded testimonials, whatever you can get, right? I don't know if you've heard this saying before, but if I tell you how good I am, it's bragging. But if somebody else tells you how good I am, it's endorsement. Okay, so what I want the endorsement. So you want to reduce resistance by getting all those things happening. The other thing is show proof. And make sure that you've got it everywhere. Like once you've got the reviews, be okay with sharing it. Take a screen capture of it and put it on your website, or have a feed from your Facebook reviews onto your website. But post it regularly on your social media. Post it regularly. Put it into your email. If you've got a newsletter, when you do an email blast, put it in there. Show proof. Don't just assume that people are going to go and look for it. Let them, show it to them. Say, here's people. If you get a really good review, proudly share it. Even if it's just a text message. Some people go, why would you do an SMS text of a review? Well, let me tell you, if it gets your message out to somebody that's in your database about somebody who's super happy about the problem you just solved, maybe they'll buy from you, right? So you want to make sure that you show the proof. Definitely very important. And reduce the risk. No one likes to slip up. Okay, so if it looks risky at all dealing with you, if they're worried about whether or not they might get their product delivered, and so this is why customer service is so important. People don't really think about this with digital marketing, but I can tell you now that there's shops that I've dealt with. I read the reviews and then I won't buy from them, even if they've got the right product or a good pricing, because their delivery times might be terrible. If I read through the reviews and it says, where's my product? I ordered 2 weeks ago, ordered 3 weeks ago, haven't seen it, customer service is non-existent. You know what? I just don't want to take that risk. So reduce the risk. Make sure that you've got all your systems and processes in place in your business so your customers have an amazing experience, and leave positive reviews, because you don't want people to be resisting buying from you. Now, all of that, those steps, what that leads to then is next step, which is amplifying the conversion rate. So we've reduced all the resistance. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that our conversion rate is maximized. So we've got customers wanting to buy from us. We're having meetings, we're having calls, they're coming in our store. We've reduced the resistance, but now what we're going to do is streamline our sales process. And a lot of people overlook the sales process, but having a good, well-documented sales process gives you consistency, the ability to train other people to sell, and lets you fine-tune each step of the process. And we're going to talk about that right now. Define each step. Don't just say, I talk to a customer and they buy from me. Think about each step. I get the inbound inquiry, I do a proposal, or I have a discovery meeting, I deliver a proposal, I have a follow-up meeting, I do a presentation, whatever each of the steps are. And think about what your customer's going through, right? Define the steps, refine the steps, document the steps. The better that you do this, the easier it is for you to be able to measure what's working and what isn't when it comes to conversion rate in your business, right? If we want to amplify your conversion rate, you want to know what's working and what's not. Is there a point in your sales process that is stopping people? Is there a point in your sales process that is holding up decision making? If you've got it documented and refined, you can find those things out really, really quickly. Know your customer, right? I get people, they say, I just want to advertise on Facebook. That's great, but who do you want to advertise to? Why are they on Facebook? And if they are, what are they doing on Facebook? Are they in groups? Are they just, keeping in touch with family? Are they buying stuff on Facebook? Who knows, right? Know who your customer is. How old are they? Where do they live? How much money do they have? What are the reasons they buy? What triggers these decisions? What are their emotions? Who are their friends? What clubs do they belong to? What sort of jobs do they have? Are they married? Do they have kids? Do they own their home? Are they renting? Do they like, going out to dinner? You got to know your customer. Really important to know that, because what you want to understand is the customer journey. What triggers them to decide to buy from you, and what triggers them to actually buy. What is it about them that makes them want to purchase whatever it is that you sell, right? You need to know exactly what it is they do. Because otherwise, if you don't think about what the journey is like, are they getting 3 quotes? Is it an emotional purchase? Let's say you're in an industry like funeral parlor. Well, that's a very emotional thing. What's that customer's journey look like compared to someone who's buying, a luxury car for the first time? Very different journey, right? But you've got to think about what journey they might go through. And then what are they doing? Are they watching YouTube videos? Are they asking Google, for reviews? Are they, going into groups and doing research about your product or service? What's the journey they go on when they make the decision? Are they getting multiple quotes? Do they want to touch and feel the product? Do they need a return guarantee? You see some of these businesses that sell online that now have this free returns. guarantee, just to reduce the risk. And because they understood the customer journey was that they're going to shop around until they find someone that has that sort of benefit. Is the customer journey, what are they looking for on this pathway? You've got to understand that. And you can only do that by knowing exactly who they are. That way, you can remove all the bottlenecks. Get rid of the bottlenecks and amplify your conversion rate. And that way, the more of these leads that you turn into customers, then the more money you'll have to put back into the marketing. And it's that perpetual cycle of being able to reinvest the money into the marketing to keep generating more leads, keep generating more customers, that ultimately grows your business and makes you a huge amount of money, which is what it's all about. So that's the amplify conversion rate. The third step to customers is then re-engaging. Now, one of the things I don't think people realize is that it's 6 times easier and cheaper to get an existing customer back to get a new one. And digital marketing is a great way to re-engage, okay, a fantastic way. But you've got to make sure you've got the right systems in place to do it. So for example, when you deal with a customer, are you asking them to like your Facebook page? Are you connecting with them on LinkedIn? Are you asking them to follow your Instagram page? What are you doing? Like before a sales meeting, what I'll typically do is find you on LinkedIn and I will make sure I connect with you. And I won't do anything else besides that. I might like 1 or 2 of your posts, but it just puts you in front of you, and you might read my profile, you might read my endorsements, you might read my reviews, might be my Facebook, whatever it might be, right? So, very easy to re-engage with people. So once you've then connected with me, you'll see all my content ongoing. And if I have a new product that comes out, I have a new service that comes out, I can keep it in front of you. You can keep looking at it. Now, things like Facebook, it's a bit tricky because if you've got a Facebook page and someone likes it, it doesn't mean they're going to see your content unless you're prepared to pay. Okay. So if you're prepared to pay, you can get your content in front of them, and it's not very expensive. It's a very valuable way to do it because we know that an existing customer that has bought from you in the past is likely to buy from you again. So you may as well put your marketing in front of those. The good thing about it is you can do very behavior-based targeting. So depending on how that customer dealt with you in the past, you can just show them marketing based on what their behavior was. Did they buy something that was on special? Did they take a long time to make a decision? Did they need did they talk to 3 existing customers before they became a customer? Maybe you need to show them case studies before they'll buy again. So you can start to think about what behavior does that customer, what's their particular journey, and make sure that my re-engage marketing is doing the right thing. So I can do very much behavior-based retargeting. Now, retargeting is something you can do. When people are on their phone, for example, on Facebook, you can have an ad pop up. They might be on Google doing a search for something. You can have an ad pop up. So retargeting is very much about knowing who your customer is, understanding what they're looking for, and being there when they're just browsing the internet. It's very, very effective. So for example, let's say you had a really good optimized website, leads came to your website and they downloaded a lead magnet. Let's say they downloaded or they came to a webinar like this. What you could do then is upload that data into Facebook, and you could create a custom audience and you could put a specific ad in front of those. Now, we know the very fact that you're here, we already start to know something about you, and that is that you are prepared to come on a webinar and invest at least an hour of your time learning. And so if we know that about you, we can start to understand your behavior. Your behavior is that you are willing to invest the time in educating yourself. You are willing to invest the time in something, but your behavior is that you like a freebie, right? So we know this about you. So we can start to target you with ads that continue to leverage off of the fact that we know that about you. And slowly we keep adding pieces to the puzzle, okay, as we know more about your behavior, about what it is that you do. We can also use email marketing to re-engage. Email marketing is very much overlooked, and that's probably how you found this webinar. You're in our database. Email marketing is a very, very powerful way to re-engage past contacts, leads. Even if they're not customers, it's almost free to do email marketing. The challenge with email marketing is only a small percentage of your emails will actually get opened, less than 30%. Quite often less than that, though. We're talking 15% examples, depending on the email service provider at the time. We don't have control over what's getting into your junk folder and what's not. It doesn't matter how well we write our emails. Sometimes they just end up in your spam folders. And this is the case for you as well as you start email marketing. But email marketing is easy. It's very leveraged. We send out, 20,000 emails a week, easy. maybe more than that. And, it's not like sending out mail. It's very cheap to do and something very effective, gets a good response rate. The other thing is you want to build a community. So one of the things we're seeing a lot for re-engaging customers to make sure there's some sort of belonging to something. Now, if you think about the psychology of a club, when people join a gym or they join like they're a member of an RSL or something like that, they talk about it as my club or my gym. What you want is people talking about you as if they're yours, like if there's that connection. So if you're a plumber, you want people saying my plumber, my hairdresser, my accountant, right? So really feeling that connection and feel like they're belonging to something. And so it's very easy to build a community these days. You can build a community on LinkedIn. You can build a community on Facebook. You can even build your own platform to build a community where customers have a login. And you've probably got a login to a lot of the different companies that you already buy from. And some of those also have like a community where you can go in and chat with experts or other purchasers or other customers, or they might even have events. Like a lot of companies have events where you can go along and be part of the community. And it is about creating a tribe. That's saying your tribe determines your vibe. So if you can have your business to a point where you're creating a tribe where people get to join and belong to some sort of membership, then you're going to keep them very much engaged. And so, you think about your business and whether or not your business model has the ability to do that. If you want customers to come back, make them part of the furniture, make them part of the team, make them part of the community, and they will become raving fans. All right.